family.
What's going on, world?
We are those Baxters.
I'm Juan.
And I am Kayla Baxter.
Yes.
And we've been married for 23 years, y'all.
Wow.
In June.
In June, it'll be 23. By now, it's two W's.
That's right. So we are bringing to you today the relationship show. Yes. So my husband is a relationship therapist.
Yes, and my wife is a life coach.
Yes, and we are married to each other. So we have a lot of nuggets to share with you all.
Oh, yeah.
And the great thing is we love and like each other.
Say it again.
We love.
Man, we like each other.
Yeah, so.
We're still in love.
Yeah. Also, so we've had a blended family. We are parents, and we are best friends.
Yes.
And we're going to talk to you about how to be that.
Yes.
Talk to you about being a couple that is in a healthy relationship.
And what a toxic relationship looks like. Because most people don't think that they're in a toxic relationship because it's normalized.
Yeah, so we're going to start with what even that looks like.
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not you need a new boo.
Do you need a new boo? Possibly. Possibly.
Yeah, so one thing to even begin with is, I think we should start with what a healthy relationship looks like by looking at what a toxic relationship is. Because a lot of people don't know. And we talk to people all the time who have been in relationships for years.
Right.
And they're looking for, or they think that they're in a healthy relationship. But so many times, negative or toxic relationships are modeled for us. And because they're modeled for us and we think that this is all right, this has been all right for our parents, it's been all right for our grandparents, and then we get in a relationship and we think it's all right for us.
Right. But, you know, even with society right now dictates how relationships are supposed to look. Through social media, through reality shows, and just through people's general conversations that they have about their relationships, that we always think that it's okay and it's fine to do these things because guess what? We see everybody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? You see everybody else doing it. So now you right up in there keeping up with the Joneses or the Smiths or
whoever is in reality.
Whoever's in this reality TV show, one of them names.
So some of the things to look out for in a toxic relationship.
Okay, let's talk about them.
If you have a pen and paper, you may want to get one.
Come on now, right?
Because you're going to need to start taking some notes. The first thing is that you are someone who always feels guilty.
Ooh, or be made to feel guilty. That one.
So,
like, everything is always your fault. Like, our kids be like, stop gaslighting. Like, stop gaslighting the other person. Like, stop making them feel like it's their fault. You ever had somebody do something wrong to you, but then they switch it around and make it seem like it's your fault? Oh, I cheated on you because you wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
How you cheat on me because I wasn't doing that? Like, it's your fault. No, it's not my fault. Like, I come home every day to you. I go to work, I take care of the kids, and you're blaming me for being good? Gaslight?
So that's the first thing. You're in a relationship and you're kind of always feeling guilty. The other person always makes you feel guilty. Also, is there jealousy in your relationship where you are not able to grow the way that God intended you to? You are not able to celebrate your blessings, and someone that you are with or that person that you're in a relationship with is not celebrating you. And you are always made to feel like what you were doing is
little. Is little. Now that you got that new little job, you acting all funny. You got that new little car, keep crushing who you are. Like, you should never be made to feel jealous if you're changing to be a better person. Like, a lot of times people don't want to see you change. Most people want to remember the old you. They don't never want to know the new you because they can keep you small and little. Ooh, how that little job going for you? Now that you work in such and such place, you ain't acting the same. Like, no, because I bettered myself, I'm not the same. Of course I'm not the same. I'm going to be different. If you're still the same person that you was when you was 15 years old, you need to grow up. You need to grow up.
You should be growing within a relationship. And right now we're talking to those people that have been in a relationship for a while, but you don't understand that it's necessarily a toxic relationship. So the next thing that's on the list is that you always feel like it's your fault. Do you always feel like it's your fault? Are you put in a position where you are being blamed for things all the time? You always think it's your fault, and that you never feel good enough. Like, nothing I do is good enough. I did this for, like, there's a time you and your spouse or you and your significant other, you were doing something for them, and they're like, oh, it was okay. You know, it wasn't you. It was never, they just are never excited about what you do for them. It's never, ever good enough.
So when you take fault in these things, a lot of times it has to do with self-esteem. Like, your self-esteem is what gets you. Like, you'll let somebody do something to you, and because you don't have the wherewithal inside you to say, you know what, that's wrong. Like I'm gonna stay with you even though you're doing me dirty. Like, no, it's not. That's not your fault. Like, look at the mirror. Sometimes we gotta have that hard conversation with the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror and say, what do I want for myself?
Yeah, that's good. The next one is, do you feel like you are walking on eggshells? You feel like you're walking on eggshells because you never know when this person is going to explode, because they're always upset about something. Now, if you're in a relationship and you feel like you are walking on eggshells, guess what, honey? It's a toxic relationship. Because you should be able to feel comfortable when you're in a relationship and be able to do those things that you enjoy, be able to be who you are without having to tiptoe around or walk on eggshells, making sure that this other person isn't upset. So I know some of you all, unfortunately, are checking some boxes.
Right. And I don't believe that nobody should be able to walk around. No, nobody should be made to walk around in your own home on eggshells. Like, for real, like, you pay bills, like, you do these things, like, for your family, and when you come home, you got to be like, oh, my goodness, on your way driving home from work, am I going to be in an argument when I get through the door?
Yeah.
Like, what's she going to say that I did wrong? What he going to say that I did wrong? Oh, my goodness, I just got finished working 8 hours. I come in the house, they talking about their food not ready. She coming in talking about, these bills, I need to do this. I need a new hairdo. Like, all of these things where you like, oh, when you wake up in the morning, I wake up in the morning, we're going to be in an argument. What's she waking up with? Hey, man, like, what did I do in your dream? Did I do something wrong in your dream? That's what you mad at me about? Like, no, I didn't do nothing wrong in your dream. So, like, we got to be careful of, like, when we go into somebody, when we go home and we on eggshells, because in a minute you can explode. We're all soda bottles that's been shaken up, right? We all are soda bottles that we got these emotions in us, they be shaken up. And all it takes is the wrong person to twist the cap off of that, and then you'll explode.
Yeah.
And when you explode on everybody. And you don't want that.
Speaking of exploding, the next part or next point is that risky behavior has become the norm. So you're in a relationship with somebody and something risky, they're always doing something risky. Someone is always doing something that is upsetting you. Someone is always or testing those boundaries with you, or even someone that is outside of the relationship.
Come on now.
And that just becomes the norm. Like, that is something that has been happening to you in your relationship. They do it. It's a cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
Both of us have done some training and taken courses and even coached people who are in abusive relationships. And the thing that is most common is that people don't realize that they are. No. And that's because of what has been modeled for them. And it is also because of the fact that you want this relationship to work so badly. But sometimes it's not that you just want this relationship to work with this person. You just want a relationship. So you're willing to accept things that God does not, I'm telling you, God does not expect. He has a plan for you to live an abundant life. And an abundant life does not include allowing yourself to be treated badly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And like I say, sometimes it's not the enemy, it's the enemy. You know what I'm saying? What's the enemy saying to myself? Like, I need to be in this relationship. Like, this is the one for me. But here's the thing, relationships take two people. You maybe want to be in a relationship. They probably already done checked out. They doing all this risky behavior, creeping around, sleeping around, hanging out with a girl, going on these exotic girl trips without you, or he going out with his homies and here he come in 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then y'all do this thing where y'all start searching through each other's telephones and going, trying to see on their social media, creating these ghost pages and stuff like that. Like,
that's not to do all of that.
No.
Excuse me, there's some really important things that happen in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, but can I say one more thing? Like, when you're in a toxic, you stop doing the things that you love. Like, people will say, what? We used to go out. We used to do these things. Like, and now we don't do them anymore. I used to love when we used to go dancing. I used to love when we go on trips. Now we don't do that more. I used to love to go play basketball. But you say, why are you hanging out with your friends? I used to love going out with my girlfriends. And he's like, well, what you going out? What you need to hang out with them for? Why you can't just stay in the house? All this stuff becomes toxic, and when we start talking about toxic relationships, we got to understand when the other person has checked out, you need to look at your eviction notice.
Yeah.
You need to look at your eviction notice and take heed to it, because all you're doing is allowing yourself to stay in an unhealthy relationship.
A healthy relationship has two healthy people in it, not one. Not one person
Right.
hoping that the other person who has already checked out is wanting to be a part of it. It has two healthy people in a relationship.
Yeah. And you know what? Right? Listen, so we'll be right back
with healthy
relationships.
So you can make that list and find out what they are. So stay with us right here on the Relationship Show.
Attention Delaware small business owners. If you're looking to grow in 2025, I encourage you to check out the Delaware Division of Small Business Edge Grant Competition. STEM companies can earn up to $100,000 and entrepreneur class companies up to $50,000. Applicants must employ 10 or fewer individuals, be majority located right here in Delaware, and have been in operation less than 7 years.
For more information, visit de.gov/edge.
Hey, welcome back to the Relationship Show. We are those Baxter.
And we're live right here on Detv. Faith. That's what I'm talking about. So listen, we've been talking about toxic relationships, right? We've been talking about what's an unhealthy relationship looks like. We gave you pointers, but now we want to teach you, like, what does the signs of a healthy relationship looks like? Like, what does it look like? Because most people don't understand. We've been taught so wrong what relationships look like. Like, I grew up, I had friends who had parents that were in abusive relationships. So they grew up thinking that was love. Like that was love. You grow up with these young girls and these young men, they thinking, oh, if we don't fight, then that don't mean he don't love me. Like when I taught in the high school, they like, well, if we don't argue at least once a week, he don't love me. Like, what? Like that.
Or if he's not upset when I spend time, or she's not upset when I spend time with people, or jealous about things that they are not into me in that way in a relationship. And those things are not supposed to be in a healthy relationship.
Right.
One of the things that the Bible says is, be ye not unequally yoked. So you even want to start there. What are some of the beliefs or character? Ladies, we have this list, right? And we're going to do a show about list. But we have this list of what it is that we want from a relationship or want from a man. And on the list, lots of times we don't have anything on there about the character of a person. In order to get to know someone, it's important that you take time to be friends first. That should be the first thing that you're looking for. If the person, you wouldn't choose them to be your friend, there is no way that you should be choosing them to be in a relationship with. Like,
not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
And how do you
Not at
know
all.
that unless you take some time to find out what the person is like and spend time being their friend?
So when you first met me, right? You first met me, right?
Mhm.
What was one of the things that you said you watched to look for before you wanted to date me? What was it?
Yes, I watched the way that he treated other people. Like when we went out. So he would take me out and we went out for a date. He courted me. How about that?
Come on now.
You're going to get to know someone. You need to be able to spend time with them and getting to know them as a friend. So he's courting me. He took me out on a date, and I would watch the way he treated the person at the door, the host, the waiter, the other people in the restaurant. You know, how you treat other people. When we went places together. We met in a play. How was he treating the other people that were in a play with him? Not just me, because he liked me, but how did he treat other people? That's important. Watch the way the person that you're interested in treats other people, because then you'll know what kind of character the person has. And it's not just about, you personally, in terms of them making, because some people are only interested in being nice to that person that they had decided that would be their boyfriend or girlfriend or their spouse, and they treat everybody else wrong. And at some point, they're going to end up treating you that same way.
Yeah.
So that's important.
I always look at it like this. If you're around somebody who gossips or talks about people when they leave the room, when you leave the room, who are they talking about?
They're talking about you.
They talking about you, right? Don't think they ain't talking about you because they talking about you. And the thing about it is, one important thing that helped us through these 22, 23 years of being married is our communication.
Yeah.
For a healthy relationship, you have to have great communication.
You gotta talk.
You have to talk about, and here's the thing, you got to have them hard conversations in order to make it through. Because if you let it sit around, it's just going to build up. Have those conversations. Most of the time when you meet somebody, y'all don't know who y'all do. Who you meeting? I always say you meet three different people. It's the person who meets you and tries to court you. It's the person that dates you. And then it's the person you marry. And I even go to the fourth person. The fourth person, I'm trying to tell you, that is who you going to be with. Now, y'all going to fall in and out of love sometimes. Don't go to the couch because I don't like the couch. I like my bed. So look, I got to do what I got to do to stay in my bed. But what I want to talk to you about is making sure that y'all have these conversations, these communications with each other to help each other get through these rough times. And ladies, I'm going to say this because my fellas, we need help with it. Ladies, if your man wants to be, uses emotional intelligence and cry around you and to have these hard conversations, do not take score and use it against him later. Like that's not, I told a brother earlier today, I said, listen, the hardest thing a man can do, the toughest thing he can do is ask for help.
Yeah.
Say, I need help. Because we're taught not to ask for help. We're taught to struggle in silence. We're taught, hey, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, you got to get it out of the mud. That's crazy. No, we don't. Any one of those things you need help with. And that person who you're with, your spouse, your significant other, your partner, you are supposed to be able to strip down to the barest form of yourself and talk to them and communicate with them.
And how does that happen? It happens through friendship.
Let's go.
Friendship with each other. And because of that friendship, you're able to share and you learn how to communicate and decide whether or not this is the person that you actually want to be in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that are also on that list are trust. Being able to trust someone. But there's some things for many of us, we're not ready for a relationship.
Yeah.
You had a relationship in the past and it did not go well. Let's say that's you. You had a relationship in the past and it didn't go well. Your trust for the other person, for the people, was broken. That has to be healed first before you get to the next person. And you already decide that, well, I don't trust all men. But you're in a relationship with one, and you're coming with a heart that doesn't trust people. So,
can I? Or we harbor this residue of mistrust.
Oh yeah,
That residue that only comes up if somebody does something that's familiar to your trust. Like, oh,
Familiar to the last person.
the last person they did that, and our trust was broken. I don't trust you no more. The last person did. I don't trust you no more. Like, we got to be able to look at our trust and understand it. Like, look, okay, I've been hurt, so I know if these flags come up, like, sometimes it's just a flag that's an incidental flag. You ever watch a football game and the flag on the field, and once the flag on the field, everybody like, oh, what's the call? What's the call? And the ref go pick up the flag and say, no, that was an accidental flag. It's no foul on the play. Oh, that's hard, right? No foul on the play.
Tell us about it.
No foul on the play. Because sometimes, like, we can be in situations that remind us of old past hurt, and we pick it up and we say, you know what? They're going to be just like the last person, but in actuality, they not. You tell them, if you tell them, look, that the last time I was in a situation like this, this happened. And they say, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't even know that was a problem. Because a lot of times we don't know what we do because we don't talk about it. We're like, what? They just ghost me.
Yeah.
They just ghost me. Like, what? You ghost me? Why? Because you did such and such. When you run into years later, they like, I never even knew that's the reason that was an issue or the reason why you.
That's why, I mean, all of this to me, it goes back to friendship. That's why friendship is so important to establish that part. Also, the next one is to be able to agree to disagree. It's okay if two people come together and they think differently. I think one way about something, he thinks another way about something. It happens to us all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm okay that we have different perspectives because we are two different people. That is called being open-minded. Some people would consider and say it's called, well, he doesn't have common sense. Guess what, y'all? Common sense is
not common.
It's not common. Everybody's coming with their own experiences, what they have learned, what they have experienced in life, and common sense is not common. So it's okay that he thinks differently than me, and we can still get along.
Yeah, you can agree to disagree.
Agree to
And
disagree.
listen, and you got to have mutual respect for each other.
Yeah.
Like, you got to respect the other person. Like, a lot of times we don't talk about those non-negotiables until later on. No, what if we talk about the non-negotiables in the beginning? Like, look, if we're going to be dating, we're going to be dating. Like, let's work towards that. I've been hurt in the past. I've been hurt in the past because I gave my heart to somebody who I didn't trust. Because I thought this was the right person. Because a lot of times we look at what's shiny and think, oh, look how they look. He got the muscles, he got the beard, he got the muscle car. Yeah, but you number 16 on the hit list. Oh, she looked like this, but you only the next free meal. You dig what I'm saying? So you gotta.
I got silent.
Yeah, but you gotta know what you really want. Like, if somebody's really into you, you'll know that they're into you. You don't have to force the into. Like, you don't have to keep calling and keep texting for them to text you or call you back. And if they don't text you on the weekend and every weekend you hit them up, they probably with their family.
Oh, and he means full family.
No, I'm talking about full family, wife, kids, and you just I meet them at the gym.
Look, I remember being younger, and we're older now, but I remember being younger and dating someone who I never met, like their family. I never went near where they lived, or never even went to. And we lived in different cities that were close to one another, but never even went to where he was. Like, he would never take me out there.
You ain't never met the family barbecue.
I'm pretty sure finding out later on that he had a whole family. Like, what is it that, we all have to be wise about. One thing that we didn't even talk about much was in us meeting each other. Like, God told my husband that I was to be my wife.
Yeah.
And God let me know that a little bit later down the line. So again,
couple months.
We dated 4 months to each other and got married 6 months later. That's how it went, right? 4 months and then 6 months later. 10 months altogether and been married 22 years now. But God let us know So then it was a matter of praying about him and praying for that person. Yeah, so like even if there's someone that you're dating and you're figuring out whether or not this is the person and you're wanting to move on to that next step after having that friendship,
Right.
pray and ask God about it. Is this the person for me? Is this what you want for my life? Is this the person you designed? We got a couple more things.
Yeah.
Can I want to hit that?
Wait, can I hit one? I want to hit one. Respecting individual boundaries. Like if y'all first start dating, you shouldn't be asking to go through the phone.
Oh,
You should not be stalking their social media. You should not be rolling up on their job. You should not be pulling up at the family house uninvited. Like, you have to respect that person's boundaries. If they at work from 9 to 5 and they say don't call them, don't be calling and texting them. Like, you out of pocket. For real.
yeah.
So you really gotta respect the other person's boundaries, because if not, then you'll be a habitual line crosser.
And nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
Nobody wants that.
Remember, you used to draw the line and say, to step over that one. No, no, step over the next one.
And then
Step
they
over
keep
the
stepping over that line. Yes. So kindness is important. Being independent within the relationship. What things did you like before you got in this relationship? We all need to still be able to do those things that we enjoy. And then when you're with the person, enjoying each other's company. So I'm not with them and we're arguing all the time. You know, what is that? That's not the relationship that you want.
Or, can I tell you?
Yes, please.
Or being with the person and y'all both on your phone. I hate to go out and I see young couples and they supposed to be out on a date and you both on your phones. So neither one of y'all are present for the relationship. How can you be present in a relationship if you're not present when y'all together?
That's
That's
good.
body shots, right? Body
Because this telephone right here
get them.
will get you in. Are you having a relationship with the person that you are dating, or are you having a relationship with your phone? And all those of us that are married, you know, it's important to put down a phone and look at your spouse. Take time. You need to schedule time to be with that person and relate with them without your device. Like, it's just so important.
And can I give one of the last ones for me? Conflict resolution, because I'm a trainer, so I train and I teach corporations about conflict resolution. I go and I do it in the youth prisons and in different places, because most of us don't know how to handle conflict. We don't know how to handle conflict, especially in relationships. It's like, okay, conflict is, we arguing. Yeah. Me and my man, we argue all the time. Know what I find so funny? Because in my head, I'm a comedian. You know what I find so funny? When I see people walking down the street and they like, screaming on the phone, I be like, I wish I could hear the other person. They probably be like, why you tripping? Why you all like, who you showing off for? Like, I only left the dog outside to go to the bathroom. But we gotta make it seem like it's bigger than it is, because in this life, if it's not conflict, it's not a relationship. That's not true.
And if you're watching something that's always showing you conflict, and that's what you're emulating, that's what you're doing, watch something else.
Yes.
Watch something that's going to give you peace. I promise you, today's
those stories on your social media.
the stories on the social media, your reality TV shows, all of that is not a model for what a healthy relationship is. And the last thing is that you guys should be supporting each other.
Yeah.
Supporting each other in the things that you do, supporting the other person's goals. They should be your cheerleader.
Number one cheerleader.
Number one cheerleader. So today we went over what a toxic relationship was, so that you all would know what that is, right? That you could even begin like crossing those things off. This is what I do not want, so that you could begin to look at what you do want for a healthy relationship. And if you need help with those things, the first person that you need to have a healthy relationship with is you.
Get it?
Is you. And sometimes that takes time that takes some individual prayer between you and the Lord. That takes you many times talking to someone for the healing that needs to happen with you, which may be a therapist, Pray about who that therapist is going to be or that coach or whoever you need. Take time to love yourself so that you can have a healthy relationship with you. So then later on, you can give that healthy relationship to someone else.
And remember that you love the other person that you're sitting across from.
Yeah, those of you that are in a relationship, in a marriage,
Yeah.
and
Talk in love. Like communicate with love.
with love.
Communicate with love.
That means you're saying kind things to the other person.
Yeah.
Your purpose is to make them smile and not when he come home, I got to say blah, blah, blah. No.
Well, don't blah, blah, blah me because it's blah, 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 blah.
Blah.
Man, we got to blah, blah, blah up out of here. So
We are those Baxter,
I'm Juan Baxter.
and I'm Kayla Baxter, and this is your relationship show.
Where we at, baby?
DETV.
Dave, come on now.